Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to be talking about The Cursed, which is a werewolf movie that I think technically came out last year, but we watched this year, so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. It's also, like, kind of a werewolf movie, which is weird. Like, we'll get into that in, like, a minute. That's not really a spoiler, but, like, if you're expecting Dog Soldier or, like, Howling levels of types of werewolves, that doesn't happen.
No.
But there are wolf-like creatures that are vulnerable to silver.
It is a very unique werewolf movie.
It actually reminds me a lot of the legends, the Arabic legends of ghouls.
I can see that, yeah.
You know, but if they're like crossed with werewolves.
Now, a couple things I want to say right off the bat with this movie is that, first off, I love the shit out of this movie. I think it is a really great movie. However, I do need to put a big fat warning on this movie, because even though this movie is a very awesome werewolf movie with a bunch of really awesome werewolf effects, unique werewolf effects, you have not seen...
Yeah, you haven't seen it like this.
You haven't seen it like this before. It is a movie that is kind of steeped in the problematic Romani trope.
Yeah, like, let me put it this way. There is a gypsy curse at work.
This movie is 100% about a bunch of white people that slaughter a bunch of Romani people and then get cursed with werewolfism, or a weird amalgamation.
A weird curse happens to them that they cast on them.
And so while this movie 100% wants you, the viewer, to be on the side of fuck the white people.
Yeah.
And the Romani people were demonized.
Yeah, it's definitely a kill whitey movie. It
still kind of falls into the problem of Romani people being people who curse other people. It still has that problematic trope. Yeah. And if that is a trope that offends you, then I would recommend avoiding this movie.
If you're okay with the idea that, like, oh no, actually, turns out all Romani people know how to use the werewolf curse. If you're cool with that, you're not gonna have a problem. But, like, if you're like, God damn it, I am so fucking sick of this bullshit.
Yeah.
And
if that's a trope that just is, you're just done with it. That's fair. It's completely fair. It's completely. It's like the Native American burial ground, right?
Yes.
Like, even though Native American burial ground is kind of steeped in the whole.
I love that trope, but at the same time, people are like, God damn it. I'm like, I get it.
Well, it's very similar, because that trope at its core is white people suffering the sins of the slaughtering of Native American people.
Yeah.
It's still at its core takes all Native Americans and puts them into one monolith, and also creates this weird mythos where Native American people, like, are these evil spirits that can fucking hurt people.
Yeah. You know, like,
so even though its heart's in the right place,
definitely,
it's still a problematic trope. And in this case, it's a similar thing here. Heart's in the right place, still a problematic trope. That being said, like I said, I love this movie. I think this movie, despite that, works really well, especially as a very unique werewolf movie. Now that we've gotten my, bleeding heart SJW-ness out of the way, let's talk about what I fucking loved about this movie. So this is a brutal fucking movie. Like, this is a movie that opens up with a fucking genocide in like the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
And slows down a little bit after that. But then once the werewolf attacks start hitting, like, we're talking people getting eviscerated, man.
Oh, yeah. The plot is these gypsy people come onto this guy's land, and it's theirs. It's theirs. They have claim to it. They fucking fought in a war like 50 years ago, and the lord who was there before these guys was like, yeah, no, fuck it, it's yours. Yeah, take it. So Whitey decides he's just, because there are not too many of them, they're just gonna kill all of them.
Yeah. They hire a band of mercenaries and they go and round them up, and it's like watching the fucking KKK.
Oh yeah, completely.
Like round up black people. It's got that same vibe at the beginning.
Yeah. And I like the way that the movie did it, which is all in that wide shot, where you're just sort of like, you're just watching it all happen at once. You're just like, oh my God.
And because it doesn't cut and it's done in that stark way, it's like watching it as it actually happens.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, like, I had a moment where I'm like, I'm a hardened horror fan. I have seen a lot of shit.
Yeah,
even though this is
actually kind of getting to me.
Yeah, even though this isn't as graphic as the most gory film I've seen, I'm having emotional devastation as I'm watching it.
Yeah, because it's like, because this is what you would see if you were like 500 feet away, minding your own business, turned your head, and all of a sudden something like that was happening.
Yeah, and it also,
that's what you would see.
It also helps that the way they filmed it looked like real violence.
It did.
Unglorified, just a matter of fact.
Shooting people in the back of the head, you know, killing like children that are running away.
It's fucking horrifying. It's fucking horrifying. Again, all of the warnings going into this movie.
Yeah.
And that's how this movie opens. And then when you get to the later parts of the movies, you're watching as children of the white people, as well as white people that weren't necessarily involved in that massacre, all dealing with ramifications of it because they're all living on the land.
Yeah.
They're all reaping the benefits of this happening.
Yeah.
And
so we're all part of it somehow, even if they didn't do anything to.
As the wolf things start happening and people are starting to get eviscerated, and then you, on top of that, you have the body horror of the turning into a wolf that certain characters do.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that in the spoiler section because who's a wolf, who's not a wolf becomes a question.
Yeah. And one of the things is that it's not a normal werewolf transformation.
No, it is not. I've not seen a werewolf transformation like this in a movie.
I don't know how to put it other than first you grow vines out of your body.
Yeah, and that's the start. Yeah.
You know, and you're just like, whoa, wait a minute, and it gives it a really like sort of like, oh no, nature has decided you gotta go.
It also makes it, more than any other werewolf movie I've seen, feel more like a folk horror story.
Yeah.
Than just a straight up like
yeah, because it has that weird fairy tale edge to it where like it's sort of like, oh no, they walked across like the river and were tangled in the brambles and got cut by a leaf. That means they're gonna turn to a werewolf, you know, like.
Now, the whole movie isn't 100% just watching people get their comeuppance, because there are some characters who are kind of innocent, who are kind of introduced as our main characters. One of which is a character who is an outsider from the town, who has ventured into the town in search for answers of like these animal attacks.
Because he's run into this type of thing before.
He's kind of like this movie's version of Van Helsing.
Yeah, he's like Van Helsing about Crane.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's played by the dude who plays the Corinthian on Sandman.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job.
Yeah. And like this guy is just... He is tracking these monsters down literally because he doesn't know what else to do with his life.
And what I like about this character is when he finds out why they're doing it, he's horrified.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh shit, this is our fault. I'm not a monster hunter who's hunting monsters for the sake of monsters. I'm essentially protecting the monsters now.
Yeah, yeah. It turns out I'm on the wrong side of this.
And I like that the movie actually allowed that character to grapple with that.
Yeah.
You know, a lesser movie would have just had Van Helsing go, oh, the monster's gotta go. But no, this was a Van Helsing who realized that, oh, like, who's the real monster? He's like at the end of fucking Cannibal Holocaust. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like you watch him on that journey when he gets to the point where he's like, you did what?
Yeah.
You did what? You know, fuck you. You know, and he's still trying to save everyone's life.
Absolutely.
But at the same time...
because there's some characters who obviously weren't a part of that genocide to begin with. Like, all the children.
He's trying to protect the kids.
You know,
and the only reason he's trying to save the dad is because saving the dad will also save the kids.
Exactly.
You know?
Now, don't worry. Most of the characters who deserve it definitely get it.
They get it.
Definitely get it. You get that comeuppance, and it's good.
Oh, yeah. It's totally one of those, like, comeuppance movies.
Yeah, but anyway, we should probably move on to the spoiler section soon. This movie is really good. It's hard to watch at times, but it is extremely satisfying after you get past the hard to watch.
Yeah. It actually reminded me a lot of The Apostle.
I can see that. 100%.
Yeah.
Where you have that character venturing into the...
Yeah. The guys venturing in and something's going on and the settlement there is doing something involving a supernatural force that they brought upon themselves.
Yep. And he's just trying to piece together what's going on. Like,
yeah, because he's like trying to save somebody's sister or something.
Yeah.
You know, like he's there to try to be a good guy and realizing... Oh, actually, me being here inherently puts me on the wrong side of things.
Absolutely.
It's a great white guilt movie.
It's 100% a white guilt movie. 100% a white guilt movie. And it's currently available on various platforms to rent. I recommend renting it and checking it out for yourself. Unless any of the things we've talked about that happens in the movie are not your bag. Yeah, I'll put it that way. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers. So, one of the first things that happens in this movie after the fucking genocide is the first victim of the werewolf transformation is the guy's kid.
Yeah.
The guy who kind of like ordered the whole genocide. His kid is the first one to get infected by the werewolf curse and starts, you know, transforming. This kid actually ends up getting like unwerewolfed later on in the movie.
Yeah, his life is actually spared.
And I was actually disappointed to a certain extent because the movie opens up with that kid grown up being treated like in the middle of World War I. And I was really hoping the movie was going to flash back to that and he was going to werewolf out.
Yeah. They're going to take the bullet out and he's going to turn to a werewolf again.
Because he gets unwerewolfed because he gets shot with a silver bullet that gets embedded in him.
Yeah, this thing has also got this really interesting like take on the silver bullet.
Yeah.
Because, like, all right, so here's how the gypsy curse works. Basically, they have the 30 pieces of silver that Judas got for turning in Jesus.
Yep.
And so it's like this cursed metal. It's like evil. You know, you don't spend it, you don't use it for anything, but then it's sort of like, all right, all the white people are coming to kill us. We'll curse them. And so they forge the fucking 30 pieces of silver into these silver werewolf dentures.
Yep. And when you're bitten by it.
And when you're bitten by it, that's how the curse is given to you.
But the silver can also hold back the curse.
Yes.
When the main character smelts them into bullets, he can stop the werewolf or kill the werewolf using the silver bullets.
Yeah.
And so when the kid gets shot with the silver bullet, he no longer transforms into a werewolf. And then at the end of the movie, the silver bullet is extracted. So I really wanted him.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to wolf out at the end, but it doesn't happen.
But it doesn't happen. It's like, no, he's just dead now, you know?
But there's a bunch of other characters, namely his dad, who also turn into werewolves and suffer much more horrible fates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a long succession of bit by a werewolf, bites other person, gets killed.
I felt bad for that one maid lady.
The maid you feel bad for.
Because you're like, not only is she not culpable in any of the things that they did to those people, she herself is practically a fucking slave to this guy to begin with.
Yeah. She doesn't have it great either.
But I also like that it's one of those like, but like, you know, once you unleash a curse,
it's gotta run its course.
It's gotta run its course.
Holly.
Exactly. So the way the werewolf curse works in this is once you're bitten by that like silver thing, or you're bitten by one of the werewolves.
Yeah.
Once the werewolf,
that's the other way it transfers.
You have like all these like cold symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, like you're suffering from a terrible fever. You go to bed that night and then you get like covered in these
these vines grow out of you.
And then, like, you feel yourself compelled to go to this lake.
The bog.
Yeah. And you go into the bog where you're subsequently drowned and then cocooned by the
vines.
The vines.
Yeah.
And you come out this werewolf creature.
Yeah. Now, the werewolves have no hair.
No.
Like,
they look like giant rat things.
Yeah. This is what made me think that they were, like, pulling a bit from the ghouls. Because that's one of the ways that ghouls in both Arabic mythology and in the Lovecraftian mythos are described as being somewhat like hairless dogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hairless dog people. You know, they do not go meep.
No. They do not.
They do not. But...
And if you're wondering if you get an autopsy scene, you do.
You do. What the fuck?
That scene was fucked up.
Holy shit. I don't know how to describe it other than it's not so much that you turn into a werewolf so much as the creature grows around you.
Yeah. So when they autopsy it, you're like inside the creature.
Yeah, but you're like completely insane by that point.
Yeah. And when you come out, it's gonna transform you again.
Eventually. Yeah. Eventually it'll regrow. So
they have to basically do what they do in John Carpenter's The Thing and fucking burn the damn thing once it's out.
Yeah. Otherwise, just gonna come back.
Yeah.
And dude,
that scene's a great example of one of those. I'm watching that scene, I'm like, I've never seen this in a werewolf movie.
Yeah, I've never seen this done before. Yeah,
this is truly unique.
Yeah, no, it's just weird watching them cut open that person, and then like the little girl that it used to be like is still in there, like, and they're like, you have to kill it. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
So fucking horrifying, but so great.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, because at this point, they haven't figured out the silver part.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't. That's one of the things about the movie.
Well, because the main character at this point is still trying to look into where these creatures are coming from.
Yeah. He thinks it's a regular. He thinks it's a. He knows that it's some kind of pathogen, but he doesn't know. What that means.
But of course, you have the father kind of blocking his path the whole way because the answer leads to what he did.
Yeah.
You know, and the genocide he committed. And, you know, once he figures that out, it's all about researching those particular Romani people and how they might have done this.
Yeah, like the dad is in complete denial that there is a curse happening.
Yep.
Despite and by denial, like in his heart, he totally knows that they've been cursed.
Oh, we forgot to mention this. Amidst that horrifying massacre that happens at the beginning of the movie, you straight up watch as they crucify one of those people. And so there's this like crucified person who they just leave there to the point where later on, children make it a challenge to go up to that curse, to the
freaky scarecrow thing.
Yeah.
Because they are not entirely sure. To them, it's freaky. They don't realize it's like a fucking dead dude in there.
Yeah. And that's, of course, how one of the kids gets you know, transformed.
Yeah, because someone, they bury the teeth under by the scarecrow. And then it, like, calls to them, you know?
And they dig it up, and then next thing you know...
next thing you know, people are wolfing out and all sorts of shit. Dude, it's also fucking... Oh, God, that church sequence is also amazing.
Oh, man, where they're all holed up in the church.
They're all holed up in the church.
And the werewolves are outside, and then they're arguing because, oh, man.
Yeah. And it's one of those, like, oh, my God, we'll be safe on hollow ground. Bullshit!
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
Got nothing to do with it. They don't care.
The only thing saving you right now is that fucking door being held off by wood.
Yeah, that's it. You got a big door between you and, like, werewolf that can kill everybody.
It's a great balance because on one hand, you're kind of torn at the end. So many people in that church deserve to bite it. Yeah. But the characters you do care about who don't deserve to die are also in there.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie where the guy basically takes the other guy's wife and kid and then just fucks off with them.
Yeah.
They're really like, yeah, you guys are like the only innocent people left in this thing. Just leave.
Run.
Just leave.
Head for the hills, man.
As long as no one takes that fucking silver bullet out, that kid's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
I just really wanted to see him wolf out in that tent.
Oh no, me too. Me too. It's like whoa, werewolf. Come on, you know, let's do this.
But anyway, my fellow gorehounds, like this movie's really good. Like it's got that one caveat, that one big asterisk on it.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because like I have Romani friends. I know how much that trope bugs them. Despite that, this is a really good movie. It's the same thing I would say about both Thinner and Drag Me to Hell, movies I really like, but also indulge in that trope.
Oh, yeah.
You know, good movies, but have that big asterisk on them.
Yeah. But if you just want to see Whitey get it, this movie will deliver for you.
Oh, yeah. It'll totally deliver for you on that. 100%. 100%. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me where you can find most, what are they calling it these days? Elevated horror.
Mm-hmm.
You know? At Twitter, at Counting Jack. You can also find me on Twitch. By the time this airs, we should have the scheduling figured out, and we don't yet. I took August off because August was a terrible month. And you can also find me on the gram at Satanic Jackula. And once I gotta sit down, figure this all out so I can get that spiel going again.
Yeah, get it rolling off your tongue.
Yep. How about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the vlog, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag
Werewolf.
Hashtag Werewolf. Use hashtag Werewolf, why not? Work it into your comment below, that way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows you watched this vlog all the way through. So, peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.